Hi there, I'm Andrea Koppel, and it's Time for Coffee, the podcast where you get to hear firsthand what the jobs and careers that interest you the most are really like. Hey there, Java Junkies. Welcome to another K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. By the way, K-Cups come in 3 sizes, single, double, and triple shots, or roughly 1 minute, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes in length. So if you don't have time to throw back an entire caffeinated career conversation, these K-Cup mini episodes of T4C can give you a quick caffeinated fix, whether you're on the go or you only have a few minutes to binge. So grab your mug and take a chug, because it's time for a caffeinated career double shot K-Cup with my guest, Pete Newell. So I have 2 final questions for you, Pete, and these are questions I try to ask all Time for Coffee guests. This one is about a time in your professional life when you really struggled. Maybe you screwed up a big assignment or had especially challenging supervisors, whatever the case may be. How did you persevere? And maybe a lesson that you learned in the process.
You know, I will tell you that I have had my share of some of the best bosses in the world. I have also had my share of the absolute worst. I will tell you that I learned a lot from both. Not that I would disparage anybody, but there was a period when I was a major assigned as an operations officer in an organization, and I swear I had the world's worst boss. It was almost embarrassing. The challenge of living and working in an environment with an abusive leader around you, leaders beyond him who were kind of oblivious to it, was a tough place to be. I will tell you the thing that got me through it is realizing that I was the buffer between him and a whole lot of other younger people. And that most of them stayed in the Army largely because, for good or worse, I was able to blunt some of the impact on them. That's happened a couple of times in my career where I've been placed in the direct line of fire of a boss who probably should have retired and found something else to do years ago, but for whatever reason didn't. I spent several years in combat, and I will tell you that dealing in the moment with death of the folks who rely on you for guidance and direction leaves a long, indelible mark on you in terms of what you might have done or what it could have been or circumstances or other things. So my first tour in Iraq was particularly brutal. I lost 19 soldiers in a short period of time. It did traumatic the first time. The 19th time, it is equally as traumatic, and it doesn't get easier even 20 years later. The things that help you get that, one is just faith in yourself, having a great marriage. I've been married for 30 years. My wife has probably faced more challenges than I have because she's had to deal with me. But I think having a close circle of friends who knows you and will body check you when you're not doing things right, an intimate relationship with somebody who you completely trust, who you can tell the truth to, and then having the faith and confidence in your own good judgment are all things that get you through those hard times.
Thanks for tuning in to this K-Cup mini episode of Time for Coffee. If you want to listen to our entire caffeinated career conversation, please check out the show notes for this episode. Thanks so much for listening to Time for Coffee, where the professionals in the jobs that most interest you always have time to grab coffee, 24/7, no matter where you live. I have one quick favor to ask you. Remember to rate, review, and subscribe to Time for Coffee. Thanks so much.